Welcome back, everyone, to the FBS podcast.
Great to be here.
Today we're doing, well, a really interesting deep dive into the whole architecture of what makes success stick.
Right. We're not talking about those, momentary bursts of motivation.
No, this is more structured. We're decoding a concept known as locking in.
It's the blueprint, really, for turning a vague idea into a reliable process that actually delivers.
It's about moving from, operating by accident to operating by design.
That's a perfect way to put it. When you look at high performers, it's not usually about raw talent. It's their ability to just align their attention with their purpose and do it week after week.
And what's so interesting is that the framework we're digging into today, pulled from principles refined by places like the Forest Business School, it all boils down to 5. Let's call them tenets.
And they're not just isolated tips. That's the key. They're an integrated system. They're designed to keep your momentum going, even when that motivation dips or, life gets in the way.
Which it always does.
It always does. So we're going to unpack these 5 tenets one by one.
Yeah, let's give you a clear look at the mindset and the mechanics you need to stop stalling and just start executing.
Exactly. These are foundational principles for operating effectively.
Okay, let's get into it. The sources identify the first one as maybe the most critical shift in thinking.
It really is.
Tenet number 1, prioritization over efficiency.
This is a huge, a massive mental hurdle for so many people because efficiency feels great.
It does. Checking off 50 little tasks makes you feel so productive.
You get that buzz, right? But that productivity, if it doesn't have a clear direction, is often just motion. It's a very optimized way of spinning your wheels.
That is the modern professional's trap, isn't it? Using all these sophisticated tools to make the non-essential work just
fly by.
Yeah.
But the sources are clear. Locking in starts not with how you work, but with what you choose to work on.
So it forces you to ask that hard question first.
What's the one thing? What's the one thing that actually moves the needle for me right now?
And it's so easy to avoid that question.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. You might spend 2 hours making your email filters perfect.
Right, or formatting a presentation that almost nobody's going to scrutinize.
Exactly. That's efficiency. But while you did that, the one tough client call or the one strategic document that needed your full brain power
And pushed to tomorrow.
pushed to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because it was hard.
So that's what the source material calls sophisticated avoidance. I like that.
It's perfect, isn't it? You're avoiding the scary, important work by doing comfortable, easy, busy work. And the key insight here, which people like James Clear really hammer home, is that efficiency is only valuable after your priorities are set.
After, not before.
Right. If you're optimizing the trivial, you're not locked in. You're just procrastinating with a checklist.
Okay, that distinction it's so important. So once we know where to point our energy, we need a way to act on it consistently.
Yes.
And that brings us to tenet 2. Systems over goals.
Goals are seductive. They give you that initial firework display, But the sources describe goals as being fundamentally fragile.
Fragile. How so?
Because they depend on things you can't control.
Yeah.
Your willpower on a given day, your mood, your energy levels, things that just fluctuate.
I think everyone knows that feeling. You set a huge goal for the new year, you're on fire for 2 weeks, and then you have one bad day, you miss a workout, and the whole thing.
The whole thing feels too heavy to even pick up again.
Exactly.
So what's the alternative?
A system. A system is much sturdier. It doesn't care if you're inspired. It's a protocol, a rhythm, a set of actions you just do.
So it's the difference between I want to run a marathon, the goal, and I will run for 30 minutes before 8 a.m. 4 times a week. That's the system.
That's the system. You're focusing on the daily input that inevitably produces the outcome.
You're shifting focus from the destination to the vehicle that gets you there. That's it. And when you commit to a system, you turn aspiration into expectation. It's something Scott Adams talks about a lot. If you run a good system long enough, the result is almost guaranteed.
So success becomes about consistency, not just inspiration.
Right. You're designing an environment where the behavior you want happens by default, not by some heroic effort every day.
Okay, so that leads us into execution, into actually building the skills. How do we make sure our systems lead to real competence? That's tenet 3. Replicate, then iterate.
Yes. This one pushes back against that urge to innovate too early. So many ambitious people see a successful process, and their first instinct is to improve it.
To add their own flair or skip a step they think is unnecessary.
Right. And what happens when you jump straight to iterating without understanding?
I'm guessing.
Chaos.
Chaos. You're making changes based on a guess, not on a deep understanding. The most reliable path to mastery starts with just faithful reproduction.
So you find the pattern that works.
A sales script, a coding framework, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and you reproduce it exactly. It's not just about copying then. It's about internalizing the why, the logic behind it.
Absolutely. You have to understand why the engine works before you try to redesign it. Replication gives you a stable baseline, a control. It's something Alex Hormozy really emphasizes. You earn the right to innovate through repetition.
You copy to learn, then you iterate to lead.
That is true lock-in behavior.
Okay, so we've got our direction with prioritization, our engine with systems, and we're refining skills through replication. But that initial spark of motivation, it's so fragile.
It really is.
Which brings us to Tenet 4, which is all about momentum. Inspiration is perishable.
This is so critical. People treat inspiration like it's going to stick around. Like that great idea you have in the shower will still be there with all its energy next Tuesday when you have time.
But it has a very short half-life, doesn't it? It just evaporates if you wait.
It does. I mean, think of all the ideas you've lost to hesitation versus the ones you've lost to actual failure. It's not even close.
So when you're locked in, you have to respect that urgency.
Yeah.
What's the action then?
Speed. Above all else. When an idea strikes, you have to take one concrete step immediately.
It doesn't have to be the biggest step.
No, not at all. Just the first step. If you want to start a podcast, you don't need to buy the mic today. But maybe you reserve the name online or outline the first episode.
Just something to turn that spark into a flame.
Exactly. Action preserves the energy. Delay just eats it up. It's what someone like Naval Ravikant talks about. If you wait, you have to burn so much more willpower later just to get that initial enthusiasm back.
That changes everything. You're not waiting for the perfect moment.
You're using the current moment. That's locking in.
Which brings us to the last tenet. And this one feels like it's for when the plan, inevitably goes off the rails.
At some point, every map ends.
Like Band 5. Figure it out.
Every big project, especially for mid-career people trying to make a change, hits a point of ambiguity. The instructions just stop. And that's usually where momentum dies.
That feeling is so familiar. Hitting a wall and feeling like you need permission or more data or some kind of sign before you can move forward.
And locking in means refusing to wait. Figure it out is an attitude. It's about being resourceful, experimental.
It's not just reckless improvisation, though.
No, it's informed determination. You break the problem down, you try small things, you learn fast from what doesn't work, and you just keep moving forward.
So it's about trusting your own ability to navigate rather than needing a perfect map from someone else.
Yes. You start to trust your ability to handle ambiguity more than you value the comfort of the known path. The sources point to people like Jared Kiso who embody this resourcefulness. You're actively hunting for solutions, not passively waiting for them. And that is the final piece of the architecture.
It's so clear how they all work together. Prioritization, systems, replication, acting on inspiration, and then figure it out. They're not a checklist. They're a loop.
They create a cohesive structure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Prioritization points the ship. Systems keep the engine running. Replication makes sure the crew is skilled.
Perishable inspiration tells you when to catch the wind.
And figure it out gets you through the storms.
For people listening who are ready to actually make this stuff operational in their own lives, this is where having some structure really helps.
It's essential. And that's what the organizations behind this research, like the Forest Business School, really focus on. It's not just the theory, it's the application.
Right.
FBS saw that mid-career professionals, especially, need that support to move from chaotic work to, locked-in intentionality. Their whole 6-month Essentials program is built around these ideas.
Helping you stop optimizing the trivial things and start focusing on your actual trajectory.
Exactly. And for anyone looking for a really intensive way to start 2025 with this mindset, to really build these repeatable systems and that figure-it-out attitude.
There's something new coming up, right?
There is. FBS is launching a new 3-month FBS linchpin session. It starts in January 2025.
A great way to start the year with real focus instead of, those fragile goals we talked about.
Absolutely. If you're ready to make that shift and really commit to this architecture, you can get the details and enroll by contacting Steve Bick through the FBS website. That's www.vfbs.com.
So wrapping this all up, what does this mean for you, the listener? These 5 principles, they aren't about being perfect.
No, not at all.
They're a demand for engagement, for movement. It's about showing up, locking in, and just keeping the system running.
And maybe we can leave you with a question that comes from that very first tenet.
Okay.
If efficiency without clear prioritization is really just a sophisticated way to avoid the hard stuff.
Sophisticated avoidance, yeah.
What is that one efficient task you do every day? Maybe it's organizing your desktop, maybe it's reading every single industry update that's actually keeping you from the one piece of work that could truly change your trajectory.
That's the question to sit with. Until
Welcome
next
to the
time,
FBS
keep digging
podcast.
into
We're
these
here
ideas and
to
keep going.
sort of unpack resources and give you the core knowledge you need, especially if you're working in forestry or wood products.
Yeah.
And our mission, with the Forest Business School behind us, it's really all about professional development. We're trying to help mid-career folks, particularly small business owners in the sector, really sharpen their skills.
And today we're really focusing specifically on one program,
Mm-hmm.
the Forest Business School's Linchpin program.
Okay.
It's important right off the bat to know who this is for. This isn't the owner program. This is aimed squarely at key employees.
Key employees.
Exactly. Those high-potential people in forestry businesses, wood products companies, related working lands organizations. The ones who need a broader business view beyond just their, let's say, technical skills.
Got it. Okay, so timeline. Let's talk urgency first. Things are happening soon.
Very soon. The fall 2025 session actually kicks off October 16th.
Wow.
And, well, the reason for the tight timing is that the funding for it, it actually came in pretty late this cycle. So the window to get enrolled is shorter than usual.
Right. The classic funding shuffle. But late funding sometimes means opportunity, doesn't it?
It really does in this case. Because of that funding situation, the program is totally free for applicants who are accepted.
Completely free.
Completely free. We've got limited spots we need to fill. And like I said, that October 16th start date is coming up fast.
Okay, so let's back up a bit. You mentioned this isn't the owner program. FBS has that comprehensive 6-month essentials program, right, for the small business owners themselves.
Right.
So how does this linchpin course stack up against that? What's its unique thing for a key employee?
Yeah, good question. That contrast is key. The essentials program, that's the deep dive, the whole works for running the business. The linchpin course is different by design. It's really a focused survey class.
The survey class, okay.
Its whole purpose is to expose those key employees, the people you really trust but who aren't maybe owners yet, to 10 specific conceptual tools. Things that are often overlooked but are frankly vital for thinking strategically, getting projects done, improving the organization. Think of it like cross-training your best people.
And there's a community aspect, too, I see. You've partnered with the Northeastern Loggers Association, NELA. That helps ground it, I imagine.
Definitely. NELA's involvement is great. It creates this environment, this peer group, where you have career-minded folks from different states all learning together. It helps make sure it's not just theory, It's about making good people even better in a practical setting.
Practical, yeah. And who takes this typically? Can you give us a feel for the kind of roles?
Oh, it's quite broad.
Yeah.
Which shows how universal these concepts are. In the past, we've had staff from integrated lumber companies, people from independent logging outfits, folks from state natural resource agencies.
Agencies, too. Interesting.
Yep. Private forestry consultants, people from trade associations. We even had a designer from a baseball bat company once.
No kidding. Okay, so the principles really do apply across the board in this sector.
They really do. Accountability, efficiency, strategy. These challenges pop up everywhere in working lands.
All right, let's talk logistics. Key employees are busy people. What's the time commitment look like?
We've tried hard to make it accessible. The main commitment is one weekly remote meeting. It's always on Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
Thursdays, 2 p.m. EST, starting October 16th.
Exactly. And it's just 1 hour long. Sharp.
Okay, 1 hour meeting. But there must be prep work, right? You can't just show up cold for a discussion like that.
No, you're right. There's about an hour of prep work each week.
Okay, manageable. What's involved?
It's usually reviewing some materials we send out beforehand, maybe an article, sometimes an audio clip, some notes. It just means that when we get together for that hour, we can dive straight into application and discussion, not just teaching definitions.
And the learning style itself. You mentioned it's not a lecture. It's a facilitated Socratic discussion. What does that actually mean in practice? How does that build a growth mindset versus just memorizing stuff?
It really means we're pushing participants to think critically. We don't
Right.
just stand there and explain, say, the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule.
Right.
Instead, we challenge them. Okay, look at your operation. What's the 20% of inputs? Maybe it's certain machines, maybe a specific supplier, maybe a training gap. What's the 20% causing 80% of your current headaches or profit drags?
So you're using their own workplace as the case study, essentially.
Exactly. Instantly applying these proven business concepts. The discussion forces the ideas out of the textbook and into their day-to-day decisions. It's about developing how they think.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about actionable insight, not just theory. Okay, let's walk through the curriculum. 10 weeks. What are these crucial topics for key employees?
Yeah, so we start kind of foundational, focusing on the individual, and then we build up towards more complex systems thinking over the 10 weeks.
Okay, week 1, accountability. Seems basic, but probably isn't.
It's fundamental. We look beyond just saying, I'll take responsibility. We get into frameworks for real ownership, for follow-through, especially tricky in forestry, where field and office roles can sometimes, overlap or clash.
Yeah, I can see that. Week 2 jumps right into something called the three-headed monster. Okay, I know this one technician, manager, entrepreneur roles fighting for attention.
That's the one. Think about a foreman or even
Yeah.
the owner. They're constantly pulled in these three directions, right? The technician just wants to run the skidder perfectly. The manager is worried about schedules, safety logs, maintenance downtime. The entrepreneur is thinking about, I don't know, new biomass markets or a different harvesting system.
Right.
This week helps key employees recognize which hat they need to be wearing in a given situation so they don't get stuck just doing the task when they should be managing or strategizing. Avoids that micromanagement trap.
Okay, useful distinction. Then week 3 hits Pareto principle and decision-making. So this is the 80-20 rule you mentioned, focusing effort.
Exactly. Applying that 80-20. Maybe 80% of your avoidable machine downtime comes from just 20% of your oldest equipment. Or maybe 80% of your lumber degrade is happening at one specific point in the process.
Finding that leverage point.
Precisely. It's powerful for productivity because it stops you from trying to fix everything equally. Focus where it counts.
All right, now weeks 4 and 5, you dedicate 2 full weeks to continuous improvement, specifically theory of constraints and bottlenecks. Why so much time on that?
Because just finding a bottleneck isn't the hard part. It's knowing what to do about it. Most places make the mistake of trying to optimize everything.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Theory of constraints, or TOC, teaches that your entire system's performance is limited by just one thing, the constraint. For a sawmill, maybe it's not the head saw, maybe it's the kiln drying time, or how fast you can load trucks.
The real bottleneck, not just the obvious one.
Exactly. So we spend 2 weeks making sure people can identify that true constraint and then apply the 5 focusing steps of TOC to manage it, subordinate everything else to it, and elevate it if needed. It leads to real flow improvements.
That sounds incredibly valuable for anyone managing operations. Okay, week 6 moves into critical chain project management. Sounds a bit technical.
It is, but we break it down. Critical chain is different from how most people schedule projects. Instead of hard deadlines for every single task, it focuses on managing the resources needed for the critical tasks and protecting the overall project deadline with buffers.
Buffers?
Yeah, time buffers. Think about a big timber harvest or building a new dry kiln. Things get delayed, right?
Yeah.
Weather, equipment breakdowns. Critical chain gives key employees a way to manage those delays and still finish on time by managing the buffers strategically, not padding every task.
Interesting approach. And that seems to lead right into week 7, rules of project flow.
It does. If critical chain is the scheduling method, project flow provides the guiding principles. Things like limiting work in progress, minimizing multitasking for critical resources, making sure the next task is always ready to go for the constraint. This directly helps anyone overseeing complex, multi-stage projects.
Okay, week 8 takes a turn. Game theory. Now, I can hear someone listening thinking, game theory, from my logging crew. How does that apply?
Fair question. But yes, absolutely. At its core, game theory is just structured strategic thinking. It helps you model situations where your best move depends on what others are likely to do.
Like competitors.
Exactly. Think about timber bidding. Game theory can help you anticipate how your main competitor might react if you raise your bid slightly or if you target a specific type of wood. It's about making smarter decisions. When you know others are also making decisions that affect you, it's relevant for anyone in purchasing, sales, or strategic planning.
Makes sense when you put it like that. Then week 9 is sales and persuasion.
Yeah, and this isn't just for the sales team. Anyone in a key role needs to influence others. For forestry folks, that could mean persuading a landowner about a certain cutting practice, negotiating timber access, or even convincing your own team to try a new, more efficient process that feels unfamiliar at first. We focus on ethical persuasion, building trust for the long haul.
Good stuff. And the final week, week 10, How do you wrap it all up?
Week 10 is synthesis and integration. This is where we bring it all together. Participants take all these concepts, accountability, TOC, game theory, everything, and they basically present a plan for how they'll apply these tools to tackle a specific challenge or opportunity back in their own organization.
So they leave with an action plan.
Exactly. It makes the learning concrete and gives them a starting point for making changes as soon as they get back.
Okay, so for you listening right now, let's just recap the urgency. This linchpin program designed to make key employees even more valuable. It's free for those accepted because the funding came in late. And it starts October 16th. Time is short to get those spots filled.
It really is. So if you are a key employee or maybe you're a business owner thinking about who on your team could benefit from this kind of focused development, now is the time to act.
How do people get more info or apply?
Best way is to reach out directly to Steve Bick. His email is steve@northeastforests.com. That's steve@northeastforests.com. Or you can call him at 315-369-8007.
Okay, email Steve Bick or call him. Is there a direct link to?
Yep. Even easier maybe is the registration link. It's https://tinyurl.com, linchpinfall25.
Got it. tinyurl.com and /linchpinfall25. We'll make sure that's available wherever you found this podcast.
This is really practical, useful knowledge for moving up in this sector, and it's delivered efficiently.
So here's something to think about as you consider this. If the goal here is making good people better, what could mastering just one or two of these concepts mean for someone on your team, or for you, starting literally next month? What if understanding the theory of constraints helped you finally figure out why logs keep piling up ahead of the debarker? Or what if better project flow shaved crucial time off your road building projects? This isn't just academic stuff, it's knowledge you can apply right away for real impact. Check out that link and grab a spot before they're gone.